In the last 10 years, one athlete has won 3 Super Bowls, earned over $111 million playing football, and become the face of more than a dozen of the biggest brands in America. Now, before you say you already know this story, you don't. Because here is the number nobody talks about. In 2024, Travis Kelce earned an estimated $52 million total. His NFL salary, the thing everyone watches every Sunday, was $17 million of that. $35 million came from somewhere else entirely. He earns more from a microphone than from a football, more from a camera than from a touchdown. And that gap is getting wider every single year. This is not a story about an athlete. It is a story about a brand, a business model, and a blueprint that only a handful of people in history have ever executed at this level. But here is what makes it genuinely surprising. This all started with a suspension, a third-round draft pick, and a contract worth less than $800,000 a year. Stick with me, because by the end of this, the way you think about athlete income will never be the same. Welcome to the resource equation. Let's follow the money. 2010, Cincinnati, Ohio. A sophomore at the University of Cincinnati tests positive in a drug screening. He is suspended for the entire season. His football career, before it truly begins, is almost over. That player spends that year in therapy. He learns to manage his impulses. He comes back in 2011 and has the best season of his college career. 2 years later, in the 2013 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select him in the 3rd round. Not first, not second, third. His rookie contract, $3.12 million, over 4 years. That is $780,000 a year, before taxes, before his agent takes his cut, before the cost of living in a city where everyone expects you to live like a star. First-round picks that same year walked away with 2 to 3 times that amount. Kelce came in with one assignment: prove you belong. Nobody was building empires yet. He was just trying to keep his job. But to understand how he went from $780,000 a year to $52 million, you first need to understand the system that was designed to hold him back. Imagine you own a restaurant, incredible food, packed every night, massive revenue. But there is a rule. You can only spend a fixed amount on your entire kitchen staff. Every chef, every dishwasher, every line cook, combined. It does not matter how much money the restaurant makes. The ceiling is the ceiling. That is the NFL salary cap. In 2026, that ceiling sits at $301 million per team. The first time in league history it has crossed $300 million, distributed across 53 players. Does not matter how many Super Bowls you have won or how many jerseys you sell. The ceiling is the ceiling, full stop. The cap creates a mathematical problem. You cannot pay everyone what they are worth. So teams engineer contracts. They defer money into future years. They use signing bonuses spread over multiple seasons. They add void years. They restructure. All of it is legal. All of it is calculated. And all of it puts a hard limit on what any single non-quarterback can earn, no matter how famous they are. For a tight end, even the greatest tight end in history, that limit is real. Look at how Kelce's contracts evolve. $780,000 per year as a rookie. $9.2 million after proving himself the best at his position. $17.1 million on his final extension. Career total, over $111 million across 13 seasons. That is an extraordinary number. Until you hear this one. His podcast deal alone was reportedly worth more than $100 million. Over 3 years. The field has a ceiling. The brand has none. And the story of how he built that brand starts with something nobody planned, nobody predicted, and nobody fully understood until it was already happening. Before we get to Travis Kelce's empire, we need to go back 40 years. Because what Kelce is doing is not new. There is a template, and it has a name. In 1984, Nike was a running shoe company with $920 million in annual revenue. They offered a young NBA rookie named Michael Jordan a deal worth $250,000 a year, plus royalties. Jordan almost turned it down. He wanted Adidas. Today, the Jordan brand alone generates more than $6 billion in annual sales. Jordan earns royalties estimated at 5% of that figure. His career NBA salary, all the years of playing, totaled approximately $94 million. His lifetime earnings from Nike are estimated at over $1.5 billion. His total net worth sits at approximately $3 billion. 6% of his wealth came from playing basketball. The other 94% came from what he built with the platform basketball gave him. The game made him famous. The brand made him rich. And Jordan is not alone in this. Shaquille O'Neal earned $292 million in NBA salary. But Shaq was simultaneously buying Five Guys franchises, Krispy Kreme locations, and Papa John's equity. Investing in early-stage companies. He used basketball to build a business portfolio, not the other way around. David Beckham took a pay cut to join Los Angeles Galaxy in 2007. On the surface, a strange decision for the most marketable footballer on the planet. But buried inside that contract was a groundbreaking revenue-sharing clause. And, crucially, an option to purchase an MLS expansion team for $25 million. That team is now Inter Miami. Forbes valued it at $1.2 billion in 2025. The template is always the same. Use the platform sport gives you. Then build something that outlives the sport. In 1930, Babe Ruth earned $80,000 in salary, more than the President of the United States earned that year. When a reporter asked him how he could justify earning more than the president, Ruth reportedly replied, "I had a better year than he did." Ruth was not just a baseball player. He was the first modern athlete to understand that fame itself was a monetizable asset. The playbook started there almost 100 years ago. Kelce is executing that same template in real time. But something happened in September of 2023 that compressed years of brand building into a single quarter. September 24th, 2023, Taylor Swift attends a Kansas City Chiefs game. What followed is not entertainment news. It is a marketing case study that business schools will be analyzing for the next decade. Jersey sales up nearly 400% within 24 hours. 1.3 million new social media followers across platforms in a single week. But the number that matters most to any brand strategist in the room is this one. Apex Marketing Group calculated the equivalent advertising value generated by that association for the Chiefs and the NFL from late September 2023 through late January 2024. $331 million. Not spent, earned. That is earned media value, the dollar equivalent of unpaid exposure through news coverage, social mentions, and broadcast time. The NFL did not buy that. It simply happened. And it changed the product's demographic profile permanently. Viewership among girls aged 12 to 17 increased 53% in a single season. That is not a curiosity. That is a market expansion event. For any brand attached to Kelce, the addressable audience just got significantly larger overnight. Before that moment, his endorsement income was estimated at around $5 million a year. After, it climbed to over $30 million, a 6x multiplier, generated not by athletic performance, but by proximity to a larger cultural force. From a pure brand economic standpoint, that is the most efficient ROI in this entire story. Now let's look at what that $30 million sits inside, because the endorsements are only one of 4 pillars. Let's look at the full picture. 4 pillars, 4 income streams, each one operating independently of the others. Pillar 1, the field. $17 million in 2026, $111 million over 13 seasons. Extraordinary by any measure, and yet, the smallest piece of what he has built. The field gave him the audience. Everything else has been built on top of it. Pillar 2, the microphone. In August 2024, Travis and Jason Kelce signed a 3-year deal with Amazon's Wondery worth more than $100 million. Not just for audio distribution rights. The deal includes merchandise development, licensing rights, and brand extensions. It is not a podcast deal. It is a media company acquisition. And unlike a football contract, it does not expire when his knees do. The podcast deal, annualized, pays more per year than his NFL salary. For talking, once a week, with his brother. With Pillar 3, the brand portfolio. Nike, State Farm, Pfizer, DirecTV, Experian, Campbell's, Lowe's. Over $30 million per year in endorsement income. And here is a number that puts that in context. Data from the 2023 to 2024 NFL season showed Kelce accounted for approximately 3% of all household television ad impressions delivered during NFL games across the first 8 weeks. 3% across every advertiser, every category, every brand in America. Think about what that concentration means for his negotiating power in every room he walks into. Pillar 4. The equity portfolio. An investor group including Kelce purchased a 24% stake in the Alpine Formula One team for €200 million, valuing the team at approximately $900 million. In October 2025, he joined the activist investment firm Jana Partners in a combined 9% position in Six Flags, with an estimated value around $200 million. This is not a celebrity dabbling in things he likes. Jana Partners runs public market activist campaigns. These are serious capital allocation decisions made with serious money. A star tight end sitting at that table is not a marketing stunt. It is a signal. So what does the full picture look like? In 2024, Forbes placed his total annual earnings at $52 million. Field salary, $17 million. Brand and business, $35 million. The field is the origin story. The business is the actual income. Here is the question every financial analyst, every brand strategist, and every sports economist is sitting with right now. Should Travis Kelce retire? The economic argument for walking away is compelling. He is 36 years old. His brand is at its most valuable when it is unambiguously associated with peak relevance. Every injury risk from this point forward is not just a physical risk. It is a brand risk. A torn anterior cruciate ligament does not just cost a season, it can cost an endorsement renewal, a podcast negotiation, a platform deal. Peyton Manning understood this. He retired immediately after Super Bowl 50 in 2016. He left on the highest possible note at the peak of his relevance before the decline could define him. Today he hosts Monday Night Football for ESPN, runs Omaha Productions, and has content deals locked in through 2034. He chose the moment. The moment did not choose him. The economic argument for one more season is also real. Another Super Bowl run means another wave of headlines, another cycle of leverage for the next podcast renegotiation, the next endorsement renewal, the next platform bid. Every season of peak visibility compounds the value of everything attached to his name. But here is the most counterintuitive insight in this entire analysis. For Kelce specifically, the biggest financial risk of playing one more season may not be injury. It may be opportunity cost. Every week on a football field is a week not building the media franchise, not developing the next Wondery season, not managing the Alpine Formula One investment, not executing the Six Flags position. At a certain point, the field stops being your biggest asset and starts being your biggest distraction. That is the paradox no financial model fully captures, and it is the decision that will define whether Kelce becomes a Peyton Manning or a cautionary tale. Let me bring this full circle. A third-round pick, a suspension that nearly ended everything before it began, a rookie contract worth less than $1 million a year. 13 seasons later, the NFL salary cap put a hard ceiling on every dollar he could earn on the field, just as it does for every player in the league. That ceiling was real. He hit it. But then he built something the salary cap cannot touch, a podcast that pays more than his NFL contract, an endorsement portfolio worth 6 times what it was 3 years ago, equity positions in a Formula One team and a public activist campaign, and a media brand that does not age, does not get injured, and does not retire when he does. Only 6% of Michael Jordan's lifetime wealth came from playing basketball. Travis Kelce is running the same calculation. In real time, the field gave him the audience, the brand is keeping it, and the business is compounding it. The real lesson here is not about Travis Kelce. It is about the architecture of income. The athletes who build lasting wealth are not the ones who earn the most on the field. They are the ones who understand that the field is a distribution channel, not the product. Kelce figured that out early enough to act on it. That is the difference between a great career and a great business. One last question before you go. Should Kelce retire now and protect everything he has built, or play one more season and risk it all for one more ring? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one. If you want more videos breaking down the economics and business models behind the biggest names in sport, you know what to do. This is the Resource Equation. See you in the next one.